doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm trying to burn more fat.
Slow it down. Slow it down. Calm down.
I'm trying to go more fat, bro.
What are you doing?
I'm burning more fat.
Burning what did I just tell you? Didn't I tell you speed intervals? You go from a walk to a you just started, it's your first day. It's your first day. I said go from a walk to a jog. Get your heart rate going up, going down.
I thought the faster I go, the more fat I'm gonna burn.
Running to kill yourself? You're almost gonna fall off the treadmill. It's your first day.
All right.
More isn't always better. Calm down.
Okay.
More isn't always better.
All right.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah, all right. Okay. Greg, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, I'm doing what you told me. You were right. I was working way too hard.
You went from one extreme yesterday. You were going to fall off the treadmill, and I don't even know what you're doing right now. What are you doing?
I'm doing hill intervals.
Holding on to the machine. You're supposed to be moving. Not trying to move your arms up and down.
I'm on 15 hill.
Are you
15 incline.
You call this an interval right now, though? I mean, where's your interval?
Well, I figured you were right. I was working too hard, so I'm gonna walk hill intervals.
I think it looks like I'll burn more fat in my sleep right now watching you do this right now. What are you doing?
I don't know. I figured I was on like a 15
No,
incline.
no, bring it down. Bring it down.
All right.
Come on. What is this? What is this?
What's up, John? This thing's a beast. Just like you said.
I remember telling you to stand up straight.
I'm working harder, but not too hard, like you told me.
And you think this is good for your posture?
Oh,
You gotta stand up. You gotta stand up like this.
right.
Like you're going upstairs. What is this gonna do? Come on, stand up straight. Oh, man. What is this?
Hey, Jeff.
What is this?
What do you think of this Michael and Regis? Kelly and Michael? You think he's better than Regis?
What are you accomplishing right now?
I'm watching the Kelly and Michael show.
The Kelly and Michael show.
I'm doing my cardio.
This is you call this cardio? Cardio?
I got bad knees, so I figured I'd get on the elliptical.
And you think you're burning fat doing this right now at this pace?
It says I'm in a fat burning.
You look like you're walking in slow motion right now. Like you're doing this literally in slow motion. I feel like I'm watching a movie and it's going in slow motion. What are you accomplishing right now?
What zone should I be in?
What zones? Not this.
Oh.
Anything but this.
Fitness Real Talk, keeping it real every day.
Fitness Real Talk, keeping it real, that's what we do.
Welcome back to another episode of Fitness Real Talk. I'm your host, Greg Crawford, with my co-host, Joe Papalardo.
How you doing? What's up, buddy?
And we're
Let's
back
do it today.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that skit, and we're talking about all the mistakes people make when it comes to fat loss cardio. So, Joe, what do you want to start with?
Well,
How about working too hard when they're doing aerobic cardio? Like, so some people, think that they have to go out and run 7 miles as fast as they can to burn fat. And what they ended up doing is they're burning more muscle than body fat.
Correct.
And they're overstressing their bodies. Just like when I was working too hard on the treadmill in that skit we did.
correct. And that just all that means is that you're not in fat burning zones. You're not burning fat. You're burning muscle.
Yeah.
You're putting your body in a state of shock. I personally feel that in order to burn fat, you don't really need to do more than 30 minutes of cardio. It's just the type of cardio that you're going to do.
Right.
I think optimally, after you do an anaerobic workout, your body is primed to burn fat. However, you want to still do intervals. Intervals means that you spike your heart rate. So you'll find a work rate that you're comfortable with, and then throughout that process, you're going to want to take your heart rate up to about, let's say, 85%, 90%, then come back down again.
85, 90%
of their threshold.
threshold,
of their
your anaerobic
yeah.
threshold.
85 to 90% of your anaerobic threshold, and then come back down again to keep your heart rate fluctuating. See,
And just to let you know what your anaerobic threshold is, that's basically where you've reached a point with your heart rate where you go from being in an aerobic state to anaerobic. So you're going from using oxygen for fuel, and then you're going into sugar storage for fuel. So there's that threshold that you meet. So to be in a proper fat loss cardio zone, you want to be right underneath that threshold.
exactly. And the body, when your heart rate stays the same for that long period of time, the body adjusts to that, and therefore won't convert fat for energy. You understand? So
Yeah.
it's like, it's like anything else. Even with food, if it slows the digestive system down. Just like if you don't eat 5 meals a day, you only have 2 meals a day. Same thing with that. If you're flatline with your cardio, your body sees it coming and won't convert fat for energy. So you need to keep the spikes going.
Yeah, it's all going to depend too on like your fitness level and how conditioned your body is. So I see people that aren't conditioned to run these long distance runs, and they're doing more damage. They're not getting any results with their body. You see it all the time. Someone's running these long runs and they're not getting any results with their body. They're not conditioned really to do that to their body.
Yeah, and of course, and then that can be hurting if they're not running correctly. I don't think anyone should be running for 2 hours unless they're a professional marathon runner.
Yeah, I mean, listen, some people enjoy like competing and doing those long runs, and that's great. But your body has to be built for that and conditioned for that.
Exactly. And the regular person who's looking to burn fat needs to realize that they don't have to do that. And it's also like you could also look at the body of, like, let's say an Olympic athlete. Long distance, the longer they run, usually the thinner they are, but they're holding on to very little muscle. Even though they're thin, they're not very muscular because their body's telling a story.
Right.
You want to tell a story just with their body. Whereas a sprinter who's doing more of interval training, up and down, fast, slow, you'll see that they're very heavily muscled. And that just basically is telling you a story of what we're saying on how, increasing, lean muscle, burning fat, as opposed to that long, drawn out, cardio where your body's going to be giving away a lot of muscle as opposed to fat converted for energy.
So on the flip side of that coin, you could be not working hard enough too when you're doing your aerobic cardio. So we see that a lot too. And you saw in the skit when I was holding onto the treadmill, I thought I was really working. And if you're holding onto the treadmill, of course, your heart rate's never going to get up high enough where you're actually, working hard enough to burn fat. So that's the flip side of that coin. So, there is that zone that you need to be in.
And you got to know your body.
Got to know your body. We have trainers that take all their clients through a cardio assessment where we find exactly for each person what that zone is, just by where their heart rate is and where their rate of perceived exertion is. So you should be, right close to about a 7 or an 8, anywhere from 6 to 8. That's your rate of perceived exertion.
Perceived exertion.
Okay? So 10 being like you're ready to die,
Yeah.
1 being easy. You want to be
About an 8.
6 to 8.
Yeah. But what Greg's saying is that basically the system is for everybody, but you want to see where you are. Like there's all different fitness levels. So you want to be doing those intervals, but know where your levels are. So by us customizing it for each person, we tell each person where they're at, so they know exactly where their threshold is, and that's when we pretty much max them out, and then they interval with that number to a lower number. Therefore, just keeping it up and down, that heart rate steadily going up, going down, going up, and going down.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to burn the fat.
So for a beginner, it might be something like just walking at 3 miles per hour, but doing slight hill intervals. You know, that might get you in your best fat loss cardio zone. But someone who's more conditioned might have to step it up a notch and might have to do some type of run interval. You know, so it's going to be different for every person.
Incline run. They could, you know, there's all different things.
Yeah, depending on who you are,
Yeah.
how intense you're training. How
That's it.
about best times to do fat loss cardio?
Fat loss cardio, 2 times. Either in the morning when you wake up on an empty stomach. That's the oldest remedy, and I still think it's the best.
We call it fasted cardio.
Fasted cardio.
Because you're still fasted, you haven't eaten yet. Your body is depleted from all glycogen stores. So you're going to be more in a fat burning zone. Make sure you're not doing any anaerobic training. Make sure it's just aerobic.
Yeah.
Like Joe said, 30 minutes is enough.
That's the
First thing
top.
in the morning on an empty stomach. That'll get you going.
People sometimes misunderstand when we tell them that too. We can say, you know, cardio in the morning. Like Greg just said, fasted cardio means on an empty stomach. The opposite, you do not want to train anaerobically, meaning strength training with weights, any kind of resistance training of any sort without eating. That's a huge difference, so make sure you're clear on that. Then when we say fasted cardio, we mean cardio, meaning the treadmill, the Stairmaster, cardiovascular exercise, not anaerobic. Very important, because then you need a meal.
Yeah.
And the other time to do cardio is after your anaerobic workout. So when you're finished with your anaerobic workout, your body is in pretty much the same position it is when you wake up, minus that muscle trauma. You're probably a little bit more depleted muscle-wise after your anaerobic workout. But either way, that's the optimal time to do your cardio. In the morning on an empty stomach, or after your anaerobic strength workout, go right to the cardio and do 30 minutes of interval cardio. And those, in my opinion, only the 2 times you should do your cardio.
Good stuff.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. So that wraps up another episode. Hope you got a lot out of that. And next episode, we're going to talk then about the anaerobic training and what that's all about and what that means and what to focus on with that. Okay, so stick with us. Continue to follow our episodes, and we'll keep bringing it real every time. And we'll see you soon.
Lots of good stuff over here.
Fitness Real Talk, keeping it real every day. Fitness Real Talk, keeping it real, that's what we do.